Incredible moment, millionaire dad discovers stranger's heartwarming secret about his lost child. Jack Miller sipped his coffee, the steam swirling around him like a protective shroud. In Maplewood, where prosperity thrived, he was the face of success. A millionaire entrepreneur living the American dream, he had it all: luxurious cars, a sprawling mansion, and a reputation polished by wealth. Yet, as he glanced at his phone, a familiar tightness formed in his chest. His 16-year-old son, Tyler, was slipping through the cracks of high expectations and shadows of success. Today felt different, though. The cafe buzzed with the chatter of life unfolding, and as Jack scanned the room, his eyes were drawn to a table against the window. There, amid untouched pastries and cold coffee, rested a handwritten letter, its pages crinkled and hastily folded. Curiosity piqued, Jack leaned closer, a spark igniting within him. The words flowed like rivers of heartache. They spoke of a boy named Alex and his mother, Angela, who struggled against the tide of despair after a calamity tore them apart. Jack's heart clenched as Alex's truth spilled onto the pages, adventures tainted by sorrow yet uplifted by hope, a testament to love that refused to wane. He could almost hear Alex's small voice, brimming with innocence and longing. Jack felt a tear slip down his cheek, warmer than the coffee in his cup. In that moment, he was reminded that family wasn't defined by wealth alone, but by love, connection, and resilience. As he finished reading the letter, Jack's heart raced with urgency. This boy and his mother needed more than just sympathy, they needed help. A part of him felt drawn to Angela, who he knew only by the signature at the bottom of the letter. Before he could quell the urge pulsing within him, Jack approached the cafe counter. He learned that Angela was indeed a waitress at the very place he stood. He swallowed hard, weighed down by the privilege of his own life. Did he have the courage to reach out? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Determined, he found himself returning the next day, his heart pounding. The cafe buzzed, but Angela was busy, her brow furrowed as she worked tirelessly. When their eyes met, a flicker of confusion crossed her face, mixed with a hint of caution. He introduced himself, but the tentativeness hung between them. As they spoke, the wall between their worlds began to crack. Their conversations danced around their lives, Jack's glimmering success and Angela's daily struggles. But the deeper they delved, the more Jack felt a connection, a searing realization that he, too, was lost in the whirlwind of expectation and fear. It dawned on him that love needed to shine brighter than ambition. Meanwhile, Tyler began to notice a shift in his father. Uncharacteristically vulnerable, Jack was beginning to listen, and it sparked a light of hope in Tyler's troubled heart. As Jack and Angela navigated their newly formed bond, they discovered a shared purpose: helping Angela reunite with her son, Alex. Little did they know, the journey ahead would challenge everything they believed about family, love, and success. Just as they began to find their rhythm, an unexpected twist threatened their newfound connection, hurling Jack into the depths of his own insecurities. Would he be able to redefine his understanding of family before it was too late? The question lingered, promising a deeper dive into the heart of what truly mattered. Jack awoke that night, the weight of uncertainty heavy on his chest. The cool gleam of the moonlight spilled through his bedroom window, illuminating dust motes that danced lazily in its glow. He couldn't shake off the feeling that something had shifted. It wasn't just the budding relationship with Angela, it was the realization that family meant more than success or status. The next morning, he dressed in a hurry, his mind racing with thoughts of Angela and Alex. He made his way to the cafe, heart pounding with anticipation, each step filled with a mix of hope and fear. Was he ready to face the unknown? What if reaching out only brought more heartache? As he entered the cafe, he spotted Angela at the counter, pouring coffee for a waiting customer. A smile erupted on his face, unfurling some of the tension knotted in his stomach. She looked up, surprised but pleased to see him. "Hey, Jack. Back again?" she asked, wiping her hands on her apron, a glint of warmth in her eyes. "Yeah, I couldn't stay away," he replied, his voice steadier than he felt they talked. Initially about the cafe, then about their families. Jack shared stories about Tyler and the pressures of parenting, while Angela spoke of Alex, the little moments she remembered, the way he loved to laugh, the way he drew pictures of skateboards and superheroes. Each anecdote colored Jack's heart with a softer hue, the void he felt in his chest gradually filling with connection. Just when he thought they were catching a break, Angela's expression shifted. A shadow crossed her face, and she glanced down at her hands. "You know, some days are harder than others," she admitted quietly. "What do you mean?" Jack asked, leaning in, sensing the weight of her words. I try so hard to keep myself together, to be there for Alex. But there are days I wonder if I'm strong enough. He deserves so much more." Her voice cracked, and Jack felt an ache for her struggle. "You are strong, Angela. It takes immense strength to keep fighting," he said, trying to infuse his words with sincerity. But as he spoke, he worried whether he could truly understand her pain. How could someone like him ever relate? The truth was, Jack's life, while polished on the outside, was marred by his own insecurities. Could he really step into this new role without compromising all that he had built? That nagging question clawed at him. In that moment, something shifted between them. It was as if their struggles entwined a delicate weaving of hopes and fears. They shared a silent understanding that family was complicated, messy, and often required more courage than either of them had. "Let us figure this out together," Jack proposed, his voice steadying. "Maybe we can help each other." Angela met his gaze, hesitation flickering in her eyes. "You don't know what you're getting into. It's not as easy as it sounds." "Maybe it's not easy," he admitted, "but it's worth it." As they sealed that promise with a tentative smile, a sense of possibility filled the air. Together, they could forge a path toward healing if only they embraced the challenges ahead. But just as hope settled around them, the clatter of the cafe door swung open. A familiar silhouette stepped inside, and Jack felt the breath catch in his throat. He couldn't believe who had just walked through the door. His heart raced, pounding against his ribcage like a frantic drum. Was it possible? Could this be the moment that changed everything? "Dad?" Tyler's voice rang out, echoing with surprise and confusion. Jack felt everything shift. Would all of this come crashing down? The threads of their new connection were trembling, and he could only wait to see if they would hold. Jack's breath caught, and his heart thundered in his chest. Tyler stood in the doorway, his hesitant gaze darting from Jack to Angela, confusion etched on his young face. Silent questions hung in the air, weighty and unwelcome, as Jack struggled to navigate this unexpected twist. "Tyler," he managed, forcing the name past his lips as if it were a precious secret he'd almost forgotten. At first, it felt surreal, like a lingering dream, but as the reality seeped in, he couldn't shake the anxious feeling of everything unraveling. "Dad, I didn't think you were here," Tyler said, stepping further inside. He looked from Jack to Angela, uncertainty mingling with the innocence of youth. Angela's expression faltered, her warmth replaced by an almost instinctual caution. Jack could see her eyes darting between them, searching for answers. Suddenly, the cafe, usually bustling with chatter, felt too tight, too revealing. I just came in for coffee," Jack stammered, trying to compose himself. He paused, then glanced at Angela, who nodded encouragingly, words echoing in his mind, figuring it out together. "Angela works here, Tyler." "We were just talking," Jack finally said, not ready to delve into the whole truth. Would Tyler understand? Would he even care? At that moment, the comfortable bubble they'd been building felt fragile, like glass destined to shatter. Tyler crossed his arms, studying Angela with a discerning eye. "Is she your friend?" The innocent question hung between them, an invitation to explain. "Yeah, kind of," Jack replied, forcing a smile to mask the flood of internal turmoil. "Angela's one of the strongest people I know. She's great with her son, Alex." "Aunt Angela?" Tyler asked, his brows knitting together in confusion. "I didn't know she was a mom." Angela shifted nervously, a flash of vulnerability revealing itself. She stepped forward, setting down a coffee cup as she spoke. "Alex is my son." "He is about your age, Tyler," she said gently, placing her hands on the counter for stability. I'm just trying to do my best for him. The air grew thick with unspoken emotions. Jack felt the pressing weight of the moment. This was a crossroads. Tyler seemed to sense the tension, his youthful spirit momentarily dampened. Can I meet him? Tyler asked, his voice softening with genuine curiosity. Jack's heart raced once more. This was the definition of a leap into uncertainty. Of course, but he hesitated. He is shy sometimes. It might take some getting used to. Angela smiled faintly, a mix of relief and trepidation crossing her face. I'll make sure he is ready. I think you two would get along beautifully. Just then, Tyler stepped closer to Jack, lowering his voice. Are you okay, Dad? You look kind of nervous. Jack felt a wave of warmth wash over him. In that moment, he realized how much he wanted to bridge the gap that had stretched between him and his son. I'm okay, buddy. Just a lot happening right now. The truth lingered on his tongue. How could he explain the complicated tapestry of emotions woven into their lives? Before he could gather his thoughts, Angela squeezed his hand gently, a silent support. Would you like to grab a seat, Tyler? She asked, her tone lightening the atmosphere. I'll get you some cookies to go with your drinks. Sure. Tyler grinned, instantly brightening the mood. Chocolate chip, please? As Angela moved away to prepare the order, Jack's heart felt buoyed with a strange blend of hope and dread. The comfort of routine had been shattered, yet the chance for something genuine shimmered between them. Dad? Tyler's voice interrupted his thoughts. If we can meet Alex, can we go skateboarding later? Jack laughed, the sound feeling fresh and unforced in the midst of emotional chaos. We can make that happen. But just as a wave of possibility began to wash over him, the cafe door swung open once more. Jack froze, recognizing that silhouette all too well. This time, his heart sank as he braced for impact. What new development would invade this fragile moment? Jack! There you are! I've been looking everywhere for you. The voice was unmistakable. Each word felt like a heavy storm cloud gathering overhead, threatening to unleash the deluge that might force his entire world to collide. Would he be able to hold on to the newfound connections he had started to forge? Jack's body went rigid as he turned slowly to face the entrance. The sight of Melissa, his estranged wife, filled him with a mix of surprise and dread. Her bright blouse did nothing to hide her urgency, a vibrant red that clashed with the dull backdrop of the cafe. She was here, and the original plan he had made in his mind splintered around him, like shards of glass ready to cut deep. Melissa? What are you doing here? He asked, trying to keep his voice steady. The words felt like an invocation of a storm. I need to talk to you, Jack. It's important, she insisted, brushing past the threshold and straight toward him, crackling with an energy that sent a jolt through the air. Her eyes fell on Tyler, and for a brief moment, the tension paused as she registered her son standing there, confusion creasing his forehead. Tyler? She whispered, the name spilling out like an apology. I didn't realize you were with your father. Mom, I was just Tyler began, but Jack cut in before things could twist further. Melissa, can you give us a minute? He replied sharply, his heart thumping a heavy beat in his chest. He felt the weight of Tyler's gaze on him, uncertainty creeping in like shadows. Jack, this can't wait, she pressed. It's about, can you not make this harder? Jack said, desperation creeping into his voice. This is new ground for us. Please, just let me figure this out. Angela, feeling the tension too, returned with a tray of cookies and drinks, her expression morphing from joy to confusion as she approached the standoff. Is everything all right? She asked, glancing between Jack and Melissa. Just family matters, Jack murmured, irritation dancing on his tongue. He felt trapped, two worlds colliding, and neither seemed to fit together. Melissa's attention shifted to Angela, her voice laced with that familiar edge. Are you his girlfriend now? The question cut through the air, laden with accusation. Mom! Tyler interjected, a hint of protective warmth in his tone. That's Angela. She is cool and helps me get to know Alex. Jack felt a surge of pride spark and tremble inside him at his son's defense. "That's right," he said, grounding himself. "Angela's a friend, and she's been amazing with her son." Melissa scoffed lightly, drawing on that air of superiority he had so desperately wanted to forget. "Friends can't replace family, Jack. You should know that by now." "Enough!" Jack snapped, the outburst surprising even himself. "You can't just walk in here and act like you haven't abandoned us. We're trying to build something new with Tyler." Tyler's eyes darted between both parents, confusion etched deeper into his young features. Jack could see the question forming in his son's mind: who should he trust, and which version of reality was true? Melissa huffed, crossing her arms defensively. "And I'm here trying to fix what's broken. You don't think I want to make things right?" "Making things right doesn't start here," Jack shot back. "You vanished when it mattered most. Now it feels like you're just swooping in because you see I'm trying to move on." Silence followed, heavy and thick. Jack felt a knot of emotions swell in his throat. This was the moment to stand firm, but at what cost? Each word felt like they were chiseling away at the delicate pathway he had begun to tread with Tyler and Angela. Just as he was about to say more, he caught a glimpse of Angela's face. The concern mirrored in her eyes opened something new within him. He wanted to shield Tyler from this chaos, to offer him a chance at something different. "Tyler." Jack's voice softened. "Why don't you go with Angela to grab the cookies? You might want to share with Alex." "Can I?" Tyler asked, his voice tinged with hope, already drawn to the new friendships blooming around him. "Sure, buddy," Jack replied, trying to keep that warmth bubbling inside him. As Tyler and Angela moved away, curiosity rekindled in Tyler's innocence. Jack faced Melissa again. "This isn't just about us anymore." Melissa's eyes narrowed, a storm swirling beneath the surface. "What do you want from me, Jack? You think I'm just going to let you walk away with my son?" Jack took a step closer, energy crackling in the air again. "I want you to understand that I won't allow you to disrupt what we're building." "Not again." A tense silence descended once more, filled with unspoken challenges. Jack's heartbeat thundered as he turned back toward the cafe, desperately hoping for a moment of peace between his son and one of the few authentic connections he had nurtured. But as he caught a glimpse of Tyler laughing with Angela and Alex, he knew a deeper reckoning awaited him. The stakes had never been higher. Would Jack be able to protect his fragile new life from the chaos of his past? Jack could feel the air growing thick with unspoken words, tension barely held at bay. He focused on Melissa's eyes, a storm brewing in them, desperate for answers that neither of them could provide. It was as if she had walked into a whirlwind, and now, the pieces were swirling too fast for him to grasp. "I'm not trying to take Tyler away from you," she said sharply, her voice cutting through the air like a razor. I want him back. I want to be part of his life." Jack shook his head, disbelief flooding him. "You mean your life as if it never stopped when you walked out the door? You missed birthdays, school events. You vanished." Each word dripped with hurt, feelings that had been locked away now spilling out. Melissa bristled, her expression shifting between anger and sadness. "You think that was easy for me?" She took a step back, her hands clenching into fists. "You don't know what I went through, Jack. I had my reasons." "I know agony," he replied, his heart beating faster, a mix of anger and compassion flowing through him. "Every day I watched Tyler hope you'd come back, wishing he could call you mom again. I had to become both parents overnight. Just because you had your reasons doesn't negate the hurt." Silence hung again, heavy and suffocating. Jack pushed through it, pressing on. "You want to be part of his life now? Prove it. Show him you care. Not just words, actions. Be someone he can count on." "I will," she exclaimed, her voice rising, desperation mingling with defiance. "I want a chance. Can't you see that? Can I trust you?" Jack replied, his own voice wavering, uncertainty creeping in. "You've been gone too long." At that moment, Tyler and Angela returned, their laughter trailing in like sunlight piercing a dark cloud. "Look what we found." Tyler exclaimed, holding up a plate of cookies and a grin that could light up the room. The vibrant energy between the trio momentarily shifted the weight of the argument. Jack's heart softened at the sight of Tyler, a reminder of why this mattered so much. But when he turned back to Melissa, he caught a glimpse of the hope swirling in her eyes, and a wave of regret flowed through him. Tyler needs stability. Can you give him that? I'll do whatever it takes, said Melissa, her voice steadier now, vulnerability breaking through her facade. I promise. I'm here to stay. The old wounds echoed, haunting him. The trust shattered, the times he had to explain to Tyler where his mom was, the incessant questions. But looking at her now, a flicker of sincerity in her eyes, something thawed inside him. Maybe we can try something. A measured approach, Jack said hesitantly, noting how Tyler beamed with excitement at the presence of both his parents in the same room, despite the tension. But it can't be just about you. He comes first. A slow, almost reluctant nod from Melissa was all he needed to know there was some common ground. Fine. But I need to be there for him. No more running away. Then let us step carefully. Jack's heart slowed its frantic pace as he felt a small sense of hope. It was the first step, and perhaps they could begin to redefine their narrative. As they all settled down to share cookies, the mood lightened, laughter mingling with unease. Tyler looked between his parents, happiness shining through the cracks of conflict. Yet Jack sensed the unearthed feelings lingering like an uninvited shadow. Just as they were starting to find some footing, a phone chimed from Melissa's pocket, slicing through the moment. She glanced at it, her expression shifting from warmth to worry. What is it? Jack asked, brow furrowed. Melissa hesitated, fingers still gripping her phone. It's my mom. She's sick. The words hung heavy in the room, shifting everything once again. Jack felt the emotional tide turn. What do you mean? Melissa shrugged, weighing her obligations against her desire for reconciliation. Suddenly, the fragile piece they had started to stitch together felt at risk of unraveling. Do I go to her or do I focus on us? Melissa whispered, uncertainty cracking through. The question loomed over them, echoing the uncertainty in Jack's heart. Could they hold on to this fragile piece when family ties pulled in every direction? And could he trust her to stay again when she might choose to leave for the past? Jack could feel the weight of Melissa's dilemma pressing heavily on him. Her eyes darted anxiously between the phone in her hand and the cookies Tyler had made. On one hand, there was urgency, the call from a mother who needed support, but on the other, there was Tyler, the son who had been waiting for his mother to return for so long. Melissa, he finally said, his voice steady but soft, you need to do what feels right for you. I can't decide that for you. Melissa's expression shifted, a flicker of gratitude mixed with fear flashed across her face. I want to be here for him, Jack. You know that. It's just, my mom, I haven't spoken to her in years. Jack crossed his arms, the tension almost unbearable. Then you need to find out what's really going on. But I won't lie to you, it feels like you're on the verge of running again. The words slipped out, sharper than he intended, but the truth hurt too much to soften. I won't run, I promise. Melissa snapped back, her voice rising in frustration. I want to be present for Tyler. He deserves a mother who cares. Tyler's curiosity piqued as he listened, his innocent face leaning closer, trying to piece together the adult conversation. Mom, are you okay? The question cut through to Jack's heart. A child's simple worry illuminated the complexity of relationships, and it hurt to see the uncertainty flickering in Tyler's eyes. It was a reminder that children shouldn't have to bear the weight of their parents' decisions. I'm fine, sweetheart, Melissa said quickly, her voice drained of its earlier tension, replaced now with an overwhelming maternal instinct. Just some grown-up stuff to sort out. Tyler frowned, his youthful intuition sensing something deeper at play. Can I help? Jack saw a flicker of pride in Melissa's eyes at Tyler's offer. He protected the boy from this growing storm, instinctively placing a hand on Tyler's shoulder. You're already helping just by being you, buddy, he said, managing a smile for Tyler's sake, but his heart felt heavy. Melissa's phone buzzed again, breaking their quiet moment. She glanced at the screen once more, conflicted. Maybe I should just call her. The fear was back, and for a moment, Jack could see the little girl in her, the girl who had run from everything far too quickly. "Whatever you choose, Melissa, I'll support you," Jack said, trying his best to keep his voice calm. "Just make a choice that includes Tyler in it. He deserves that." A long pause settled between them, and the tension became palpable. Finally, Melissa exhaled deeply. "I'll call her, but I won't let it take over." "I promise." Jack nodded, feeling a flicker of hope but still unsure. Was this commitment real? Would she turn her back again? After a few moments lost in thought, Melissa pressed her lips together, the determination bleeding through her uncertainty. "I'll be right back," she said, hurrying out to make the call. Left alone with Tyler, Jack wondered how the boy felt about all this. "How are you doing, buddy?" he asked gently. "I just hope she stays," Tyler replied, a hint of vulnerability surfacing. The innocence in his voice tugged at Jack's heartstrings. He knelt down, meeting Tyler's gaze. "Me too, kid. But whatever happens, we've got each other." Tyler nodded, seemingly reassured. They sat together in silence for a moment, the aroma of cookies still surrounding them, but now there was an air of anticipation. Jack's mind raced. The confusion and hope swirling in the air were palpable, and he couldn't shake the worry that something was about to change drastically again. Just then, Melissa returned, her expression unreadable. "She's in the hospital. I need to go. Listen, can you watch Tyler?" Jack's stomach dropped. Just as they had begun building something new, the past was reaching out again, threatening to pull her away. "You can't be serious." Melissa looked at Tyler, who was watching with wide eyes, the hope of their earlier laughter replaced with confusion. I know, but I have to do this." "What about us? What about what we're trying to build?" Jack's voice rose. Instinctively, dread swelling in his chest. "I'll be back as soon as I can," she whispered, almost pleading. But the sincerity in her voice didn't change what felt like a betrayal. As she grabbed her things and rushed out the door, Jack's heart sank, overwhelmed with the looming uncertainty. What would happen to Tyler now? Would this be another goodbye? Tyler looked up at Jack, his face a mix of confusion and sorrow. "Dad, is she really coming back?" In that moment, Jack realized the weight of that question for Tyler and for himself. Just how fragile was their new beginning? I hope so, kid," he said slowly, not fully convinced. The door clicked shut behind Melissa, leaving a silence that echoed like a taut string ready to snap. Would they find a way to hold everything together, or was this the beginning of another heart-wrenching goodbye? Jack's heart raced as silence filled the room, the absence of Melissa's warmth settling heavily on his shoulders. Tyler's small hands fidgeted in his lap, his eyes shimmering with unshed tears. Jack had always been the anchor, but right now, he felt adrift. "Hey," he said, kneeling beside Tyler, "let's do something fun while we wait. How about baking those cookies together?" Tyler sniffed and managed a small nod. Jack pulled a bit of flour from the pantry, his movements methodical. He wanted to be the steady force. They measured and mixed ingredients, trying to distract themselves from the looming uncertainty of Melissa's absence. Flour dust filled the air, settling like a thin veil around them. "Can we make them extra special? With chocolate chips?" Tyler's voice carried a hint of his earlier excitement, reigniting a spark in Jack's heart. "Of course. The more chocolate, the better," Jack replied, reflecting Tyler's enthusiasm. As they dropped chocolate chips into the thick dough, laughter began to bubble between them. It was a brief escape, the sweetness on their fingers and the comforting scent filling the kitchen, but the joy always felt fragile against the weight of what was unsaid. Suddenly, Tyler's enthusiasm wavered. "Jack," he said softly, "what if she doesn't come back?" His innocent question struck Jack hard, like a punch to the gut. He hesitated, torn. How could he reassure this child without breaking the truth? "Sometimes people have to go away for a little while, buddy," he began, searching for the right words. "But that doesn't mean they stop loving you. And it doesn't mean they won't come back." Tyler's brow furrowed. "But what if she forgets us?" The fear in Tyler's voice felt like ice water running through Jack's veins. She won't forget, I promise. You're too special for her to forget. Tyler's gaze dropped, uncertainty creeping back in. I don't want to be forgotten. Jack clenched his fists, wrestling with the bitter reality. You won TB. And hey, I'll always be here. He shot Tyler a reassuring smile, though it felt like a mask. The weight of that promise loomed large, holding a question of its own. Would he really be enough for Tyler if Melissa didn't return? The cookies were soon in the oven, and an aroma began to waft through the air, sweet and familiar. Jack placed a hand on Tyler's shoulder, trying to establish some calm between them. Why don't we set a timer and find a game to play while we wait? As Jack rummaged through the board games in the corner, a troubling thought struck him. In the back of his mind, he couldn't shake the worry that Melissa's call wasn't a simple family check-in. Hospitals meant trouble, and he knew how precarious things could become when the timer dinged. The warm, golden cookies emerged, their edges crisp and inviting. They cooled on the counter while Jack poured glasses of milk. Tyler's eyes lit up, and for a moment, Jack breathed a sigh of relief. Tyler, he said, catching his breath as they enjoyed their treats. You've got to know your mom loves you more than anything. Even if she takes a detour, she'll always want to come back home. Just then, the phone rang, cutting through the warm atmosphere they had managed to carve out. Jack glanced at the screen. The name on it sent chills down his spine. It didn't belong to Melissa. Who is it? Tyler asked, his voice laced with fear. The trembling anxiety snaked through Jack as he picked up the phone. A voice he didn't recognize spoke on the other end. Is this Jack? I need to talk to you about Melissa. It's important. Jack's heart sank, and he glanced at Tyler. What was this about? Questions raced through his mind, and suddenly, the warm kitchen felt like a trap closing in on them. Wait, what happened? He managed to ask, dread coating his every word. It's about her mother, the voice continued, pressing deeper into an unsettling truth. As Jack listened, the world around him narrowed. Would this lead to more heartache, or was there still a glimmer of hope in the shadows? The call unfolded like a film reel, each word striking at his heart. The truth hung in the air, ready to shatter everything he thought he understood. What did Melissa's past hold? And could it bring them together or tear them apart forever? Jack's grip on the phone tightened as the voice on the other end disclosed a harrowing truth he never anticipated. Melissa's mother is in the hospital. She has been there for a few weeks now due to health complications. She fell ill suddenly. Melissa needed to go. She had to make some difficult choices. The words felt like a punch in the stomach. Jack's thoughts spiraled as he glanced at Tyler, whose innocent face was rapidly losing its fleeting joy. Why didn't she tell us? Jack managed, his voice barely above a whisper. The silence of the kitchen suddenly felt suffocating. I don't think she wanted to worry you. But she needs to focus on them now. What do you mean, focus? What does that mean for Tyler? Jack's heart raced, the weight of his role as protector crashed over him like a tidal wave. He glanced at Tyler, who was now wide-eyed and confused, the laughter of moments earlier evaporating into uncertainty. Jack, listen. Melissa is trying to be strong. She loves Tyler and would never let him go if she didn't believe it was necessary. But her mother is critical. It's hard, and she needs support right now. Critical? The word echoed in Jack's mind, each syllable darkening his thoughts. Melissa's struggles twisted like knots in his stomach. He felt the urge to rush to her, to wrap his arms around both of them. But where was he supposed to start? Tyler tugged at his shirt, breaking him from his spiraling thoughts. Jack, what's wrong? Is my grandma okay? Looking into Tyler's innocent eyes, Jack felt something crack open inside him. I don't know yet, buddy, he said, voice shaking. But we can send her all the love we have. And we can be here for your mom. Jack searched for strength he wasn't sure he had. What if she never comes back? Tyler asked, his voice trembling, mirroring Jack's own fears. She will, Tyler. She is going to fight for you, Jack said, clenching his fists as he fought against his own rising doubts. The voice from the phone continued, but Jack's focus drifted. He could feel the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. He reset his gaze back at Tyler, who was now staring at the floor, lost in thought. Should we make her a card? Or something special? We could draw pictures and tell her we love her, Tyler proposed, brightening a little at the suggestion. It was a spark, a reminder that even in darkness, small lights could shine through. Great idea. Let us gather some art supplies. But Tyler, we can't just stop there. We're going to need to be a team from now on. The words flowed from Jack as if he had struck a chord he didn't know existed. Yeah, a team. Tyler smiled, a hint of determination glimmering in his eyes. The idea of teaming up filled both of them with a renewed sense of purpose. As they scrambled to gather markers, paper, and glitter, Jack glanced back at the phone. Thank you for telling me, he said quickly before hanging up. There was no time to lose. They needed to forge ahead, to create something tangible, something that would connect them to Melissa even if she was miles away. The art supplies became their sanctuary, a way to channel their emotions into colors and shapes. Jack sketched a big sun, while Tyler drew a heart encircled by stars. Each stroke felt cathartic, allowing them to release their worries. But amidst the laughter and creativity, a deeper fear lingered in Jack's mind. How much time did they have? Just as they put the finishing touches on their masterpiece, Jack's phone buzzed again. He picked it up and, his heart skipped a beat when he saw the name on the screen: Melissa. Breaths caught in his throat. What would she say? Tyler, this could be it. Are you ready? He whispered, both excited and terrified. He felt the weight of the moment threatening to crush his hopes and fears at once. A powerful turn was about to unfold. Would Melissa's next words bring them closer together, or expose the cracks in their fragile world? Jack's hand trembled slightly as he swiped to answer the call, his heart racing. Hey, Melissa, he said, trying to keep his voice steady despite the churning emotions inside. Jack, she breathed, relief evident in her tone. I'm so glad you picked up. There was a brief pause that stretched as he imagined her on the other end, probably battling her own demons. How's your mom? Jack asked, his stomach knotting at the thought of Melissa's pain. She's not doing well. I've had to make some tough choices, Melissa said, her voice breaking near the end. Jack felt helpless, the weight of his own worries paled against the struggles she was facing. Is there anything we can do? Anything at all, he pressed, needing to offer her something more than empty words. Just knowing you're there means so much, she said softly. For Tyler too. I had to leave so suddenly, and I'm worried about how it's affecting him. Tyler and I are a team now, Jack assured her, catching Tyler's eye. The boy was patiently listening, clutching his drawings. We're working on something special for you and your mom. Really? He is such a sweetheart, Melissa said, a faint chuckle escaping her lips. But Jack could hear the underlying strain in her voice. Jack's heart plummeted. Melissa, I know this is hard, but don't get too lost out there, okay? We're here, waiting for you. You can count on us. His own words took shape in his mind, a reminder to himself as much as to her. Thank you, Jack. You have no idea how much your support gives me strength, she replied, her voice thick with emotion. Tyler squeezed Jack's hand, a silent reassurance that he was listening, even though he still wore a worried expression. Jack nodded at him, trying to uplift them both. Melissa, he said carefully, have you thought about taking a break? You can remember to breathe, please. This doesn't have to be all on you. There was silence on the other end, a long, tense moment that spoke volumes. Jack could hear her sniffle slightly. I can't think about anything else right now. All I want is to be there for my mom. It's like, every time I take a moment to think of anything else, I feel guilty. You're doing everything you can, he urged gently. It's okay to take a moment for yourself too. Tyler and I believe in you. We're cheering you on from here. Melissa took a shaky breath. Thank you. I'll try to remember that. I just don't want to let anyone down. We won't let you down either, Melissa. We're family, and that's what family does. She finally let out a soft laugh, and Jack felt warmth in his chest. You're right, Jack. Thanks for being my rock. After they exchanged a few more comforting words, Jack ended the call. He looked at Tyler, whose eyes sparkled with hope. You heard her, buddy? We're going to help her through this. Can we send her our art now? Tyler asked, bouncing slightly. Absolutely. Let us get it ready to go. Jack felt a surge of determination. It was just a drawing, but it was more than that. It was a lifeline. They hurriedly prepared an envelope filled with drawings, each of Tyler's stars gleaming with childlike optimism. Jack scribbled a note of encouragement, his heart aimed at bridging the miles to Melissa. As they sealed the envelope with a flourish, Jack felt a sense of purpose. But in the back of his mind, uncertainty lingered like a storm cloud. How long before Melissa had to make more difficult choices? The thought sat heavy as he watched Tyler's innocent, hopeful expressions. Suddenly, the phone chimed again, a message lighting up the screen. Jack's pulse quickened as he read the text. It was from Melissa, but it was different this time. We need to talk. Something happened. His heart raced and a chill ran down his spine. What now? The moment felt ominous, and as he glanced at Tyler, he knew he had to prepare them both for whatever storm lay ahead. Tyler, let us take a deep breath. We might need to be a team like never before. Jack's heart raced as he stared at the message on his phone, dread creeping back in. He'd just begun to feel a sense of stability, a fragile thread weaving between him, Tyler, and Melissa. Now, those threads felt ready to snap. Dad? What's happening? Tyler's innocent voice cut through the thick tension hanging in the air. Jack knelt down, looking deeply into his son's earnest eyes. Tyler, I just got a message from your mom. I think we need to be ready for whatever comes next. What does that mean? Is she okay? Tyler's brow furrowed, worry drowning the light that had just begun to bloom in his heart. Jack could feel the stirrings of fear rise in his own chest, but he steeled himself. I hope so, buddy. But whatever it is, we will get through it together. Tyler nodded, but the uncertainty loomed, heavy like an unwelcome visitor. They moved to the kitchen table, the envelope of drawings still resting there, a beacon of hope in a storm. Jack's mind raced as he recalled Angela's warmth and the way she helped him see love in deeper colors. He wished she was there now, having navigated tangles of human emotion with him before. Let us send Mom our drawings, Tyler suggested, optimism sneaking back into his voice. Jack smiled, a wave of recognition crashing over him. His son's resilience shined brightly even in this moment of fear. As they prepared to send off the envelope to Melissa, words of encouragement screaming positivity from the paper, Jack felt a fierce determination rose within him. Your mom loves you, and she is fighting. We need to remind her she is not alone. Just then, the phone rang again. Jack's heart sank. He reached for it with a nervous hand. Stay close, he whispered to Tyler before answering. Jack? It's Melissa, her voice quivered with urgency. I need you to come to the hospital. There are things we have to discuss. A pit formed in Jack's stomach. Is it about your mom? Is she? Panic threatened to spill over. There's been an update, Melissa said, her voice breaking. I'm scared, Jack. Please come. Okay. We're on our way, Jack replied, feeling Tyler's presence beside him. We'll be there soon. He ended the call and turned to his son, who was already bracing himself. Tyler, we need to go to the hospital. Are you ready? Yeah. But what if I have to say goodbye? Tyler's voice wavered, the fear creeping back in. Jack knelt down, heart open wide. Listen to me, Tyler. We are going to support your mom. We'll be with her. Whatever happens, it's okay to feel scared, but we're a team. You and me, we can face anything together. Tyler nodded, though uncertainty still lingered. The car ride to the hospital felt surreal, each moment wrapped in the weight of what might come. Yet as they approached, Jack felt a familiar warmth build inside, a love that blossomed amidst the fear. Together, they stepped into the sterile hospital hallway, bright lights bouncing off the cold tiles. Jack held Tyler's hand tightly, his son's innocent strength feeding into his own. Soon they reached Melissa's room, and the worry in his heart surged. When they entered, the sight of Melissa brought everything flooding back: the fear, the love, the dream of reuniting their family. Her eyes shimmered with unshed tears and painted a picture of vulnerability he had never seen before. "Jack Tyler," she breathed, her voice trembling. The moment felt raw and unfiltered, like stepping into the heart of a storm. Jack swallowed hard, making sure his face stayed steady for Tyler's sake. "Hey Melissa, we're here," he said softly. "Thank you for coming," she whispered, pulling them both into an embrace that felt like reassurance, a lifeline thrown in the turbulent waves. "I just want us to be whole again. I just don't know how." Jack held her tightly, feeling the bond tightening around them. "We figure it out, one step at a time. You're not alone anymore." Tyler beamed up at her, his youthful face shining with hope. "We've got a surprise for you," he said, pulling out the envelope of drawings he and Jack had created. "Look. We made this for you." Melissa's eyes widened, and tears spilled over. She opened the envelope slowly, her breath hitching as she saw Tyler's artwork, resplendent with dreams and love. "I love it," she whispered. "Thank you both." In that moment, as new connections formed, Jack realized this was their chance to rebuild together. A mix of hope and acceptance filled the air. Even in the sharpest of challenges, they could come out stronger. With their hearts intertwined, he could finally see it clearly: family wasn't just about being blood. It was about love, forgiveness, and the courage to stand together amidst uncertainty. Jack held Melissa's gaze, feeling the warmth rise as understanding formed. "We're in this together now, no matter what," he promised softly. "We'll navigate these storms, hand in hand." Melissa nodded, determination etched across her face. As they embraced once again, a new chapter unfurled before them, filled with promise. In that moment, surrounded by love, they began to draft their own story, a family reshaped, built on unwavering trust and soft, knowing smiles. And now, if you enjoyed this conclusion and are eager for more heartwarming stories like this one, you need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share it with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Your support means everything.